Considering February is such a short month, especially considering all the other months, I'm quite surprised how much I actually got read during February. Let's do my wrap up of all the books that I read for February 2025. Hello everyone, I'm your friendly neighborhood librarian Kate, and in today's video I'm going to go through all the books that I read for the month of February. We're going to input them into my reading journal, which is where I track my reading physically. We're also going to write some reviews, and we're going to do just an update of my reading journal in general. If you would like to see how I set up the month of February, I will leave that link down below. As well, if you want to see how I set up my whole reading journal or the products that I've used, that is all linked down below for you as well. In the end, I ended up reading 7 books this month. I'm quite surprised that it was 7 books. It was a mix of both physical, audio, and Kindle reads, and I thought it was a good balance of everything. Now, February is the month of love and romance, and I kind of tried to stick to that theme, but let's be honest, I predominantly read romance or romantasy or fantasy romance, as you can probably see from the books that I've picked, and a few of them were actually rereads. I loved this month. I wish every month was as happy and joyful as this month, and March is really letting me down. What are we doing, March? What are we doing? I think after having such a great reading month in February, it's hard to top that in a month like March, but that's for the March wrap up. We'll leave that there. The books I read this month was Apprentice to the Villain, which is the second book in Assistant to the Villain series. I also read Happenstance by Tessa Bailey. That one was a TBR Cauldron of Chaos pick. I have a whole reading vlog of that linked down below. And then I also reread Guarded Treasure because I really wanted those mummy vibes, and I'm still searching for those mummy vibes. I also did my annual, or biannually, or let's be honest, multiple times in a year, reread of Court of Mist and Fury. I read Ailey Hazelwood's new sports romance, are we calling it that, called Deep End. It was quite a lot bigger than all her other books. I was quite surprised. And then we also have Bitten by Death, which was my book club pick for the month of February. And I did end up reading the sequel, which is Kissed by Death, which I enjoyed a lot more. It's funny, but yeah. They did end up only being 3 stars, and I think that set me in just a spiral for March. So yeah. I enjoyed these. As you can see, I only end up giving out 3 5 stars, and 2 of them are ones that I've read before, so they did not count. So my 5-star pick for the month is Apprentice to the Villain. I just love the tension and the writing of it. It was just so cute. I also really love this February setup. I was quite surprised. I'm not normally a girly with lots of bows and pretty things. I am a forest goblin, or as my husband likes to say, a chaos goblin. And I'm surprised. It turned out pretty cute. Pages wise, I did end up adding up all my pages, so 2,375 pages. That is a chonker. That's like 2 Brandon Sandersons. If we're counting Brandon Sandersons. In terms of of hauls for the month, I ended up getting 9 books. I got A Good Kind of Trouble. I got Reckless, Spiral, Cruel is the Light, The Baby Dragon Cafe, Immortal, Deep End, a Globe Theatre book, and an Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I got quite a few books. I got less than I thought, but pretty good. Here I am filling out my 100 books for the year bookshelf. So I was going to do this as I read them, but I like the idea of filling it out at the end just to get that happy serotonin that comes with ticking things off and coloring things in. I don't like coloring in like for fun. I don't see the purpose of it. I'm just not that person. But if I'm coloring in for a reason, like for example, this journal or something for work or that kind of thing, I'm happy to do it. But for some reason, it does not calm me down when I'm just doing it for fun. So I'm not one of those people. I like building things or putting things together. Yeah, as you can probably tell from my book journals. But going along, my bookshelf are pretty good. In terms of my book of the year, book of the month, sorry, we already know which one it's going to be. Let's be honest, it's Apprentice to the Villain. It's the only one that wasn't a reread that I really enjoyed. Now, I'm not going to do the battle off where January versus February. As we can see, it's When the Moon Hatched and then versus Apprentice to the Villain. I leave that till the end of the year, just so I have a bit more of a clearer idea in mind and then go from there. This is my romantasy checklist, so I tick off each time I read a romantasy book. My book club pick section, so this is where I write down the start, the end, and the rating of the book. Compared to last month's book, I did not like this one as much. Mind you, it is a reread for me. I do like the idea and the premise of the book, but in terms of the actual narrative, I felt like it was too drawn out, mainly because they didn't get together in the end. Spoilers. And yeah, that really upset me. It really does. That's why I had to read the second book. In terms of review wise, I am doing a review for Happenstance, which was from my Cauldron. So every time I read a Cauldron book, I'm going to do a review for it. Or anytime that I do one for a vlog, I'll probably put it in here. I'll obviously do my book club pick of the month. And then I do my just book of the month as well. So Happenstance was kind of hard to find images for. So I normally do Google search and try and find the images, and there wasn't much. So I just got the little carriage thing that you can get off the back of the book and just went with that. That's just the way it happened. I do like the pink and the blue aspect. As you can see, I'll probably bring it into here. Getting washi tape to line up to a corner of a page is kind of hard when you can't put your face close to it, because otherwise I'll block the camera. So yeah. How are we liking the setup with the plant and the mushroom cup? I think it's kind of cute. It is a little bit of a pain sometimes, especially when I'm cleaning up my desk, but I do like how it looks. It does look very cozy. I'm kind of going with that, like, I don't know what you would call it. It's a kind of a mix of like witchy, apothecary, forest goblin, hobbit. It's a weird mix. But like forest witch? I don't know. That's the kind of vibe I'm going for, and my library is really looking like that right now. If you haven't seen my latest update on my library and what I've done, I will leave my cozy video down below. I recently did a reading vlog, well, not a reading vlog, it was like a weekend in my life vlog, where I just had lots of b-roll and had music over the top with some text down the bottom. If you want to see more of them, because they're a lot easier to film than a reading vlog, that's for sure, and especially considering that I'm working full-time and doing uni as well, and this gig too, it's a little bit hectic. So if you want to see more of like that b-roll thing, leave me a little star emoji down below and I'll tally them up and I'll see whether I should just keep doing them, because I really enjoyed it. And maybe I should just do it anyway. I don't know. I'm going to waffle today. I haven't waffled like this in ages, and I figured now is the time. Now, this book, Happenstance, let's get back to what we're actually here for. Happenstance is by Tessa Bailey. Tessa Bailey is an amazing writer. She's really good at that spicy romance, or that different sort of romance that really hooks you in, and maybe I should just read it, Tessa Bailey. Anyway, I gave this book a 4 out of 5. There's just some small bits that I didn't like about the book, but that's probably more of a personal choice, but because it's a rating and it's my personal rating, I'm giving it a 4. In terms of spice, it's definitely a 3, mainly because it's a reverse harem book. So there is 1 female protagonist and 3 guys. Really weird how they got together too, but yeah. Anyway, my favorite quote, which I'm writing down here, is something this perfect couldn't be happenstance, I say confidently. I love when authors put in the title of the book within the story, either at the end or at the start, and it's just perfection. Okay, so what I've written here, or what I'm writing here, is a classic Tessa Bailey, fast-paced and character-filled. Elise is a budding journalist investigating a corruption story from none other than Gotham Times. I thought it was funny that it was Gotham Times, but anyway. While out scouting, she runs into 3 gentle, quotation marks, men, whom she is instantly attracted to, and they are also an uptight rugby player, a construction worker, and an adult film star she pretends not to recognise a little too well. I enjoy this and read it in one day. I have the whole vlog down below. So the main tropes that are coming through here is touch her and die, reverse harem, fast-paced, and instant attraction. I do find sometimes with Tessa Bailey, she's got that like sparky love that comes through, and that instant attraction, more like lust-filled. Sometimes not. I haven't read all her books, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I really enjoyed this. I liked the difference of it, and I liked how she was inspired by someone telling her about this, and I was like, oh, this was good. I could read more about this. If it was more of a series and spread out more, I probably would have enjoyed it more to get into the nitty-gritty of all the things, but you know, hey, that happens. What do we think? Do we like the setup of this one? I definitely needed more images, and I definitely correct that in the other ones. But I thought the pink was kind of cute. Pink is cute, right? Right. Okay, finishing this off. These are new pens, by the way, too. They are the Sharpie gel pens, or S-Gel. I got them in the green edition. They were quite cheap, actually. They're 0.7 mils, and they just have this beautiful dark black. Yeah, anyway. The next one I'm going to do is Apprentice to the Villain, and I like how this turned out in the end. It was very much that collage. Some people call it junk journaling. It's fine too. I kind of like it, the scrapbooking aspect. I couldn't get quite a good washi tape to match this, but the one I end up picking I think goes really well, mainly because of some of the stuff that is in the washi tape. So if you see, there's a crown, there's potions, there's a black cat, there's books. Up the top, when I put the top one up, it will be mushrooms, and also a witch's hat and feathers and that kind of stuff, and I think it goes really well. I can't wait for the next one. I really can't. I wish there was more special editions of this one. I ended up buying the French special edition just because there wasn't any others. I bought the first one, which is Assistant to the Villain. Yeah. And I love it so much. It's just adorable. I really want a Kingston frog too. So anyone that lives in America, and if you can get hold of a Kingston frog and send it to me, please do. Please. I want one. I really want one with his crown. I need it. I really do. I need to figure out a way to get one. I just want it. Okay? I need it. It's a need, not a want. That's why I rate things now. It's a need, not a want. Anyway, these little stickers are just amazing. I definitely need to order some more. I didn't think I'd go through them that quickly. They're from an Etsy seller. I will leave her link down below. It's not sponsored, or I don't have a discount code or anything. So, but I do love how they turned out, and they are really cute and really easy to draw on and don't smudge. Do you know how sometimes when you get printed like stickers or you're drawing on things, sometimes they really smudge? This definitely has like that thick paper feel, and it's obviously paper-esque, but anyway. Images that I found online for these guys, there's kind of a mix of different artworks. I really love the one in the corner where it's more anime style and she's got Kingston on her head, and it's just so cute. I love this book. It is just gorgeous. If you haven't read the first book, I really suggest that you do. You can listen to the audiobook, you can get it on Kindle, or read the physical, but I just loved it. I could rave on and on and on about this book for so long. And the slow burn romance, oh my god, I just want them to get together. oh, and it's like the good tension, and you're just like, oh, just get together. But you know how sometimes with characters like, oh, I can't be together because of such and such reason. You're like, that is a stupid reason. Just talk to each other. Just talk to each other and sort your stuff out. Seriously. Anyway, that's me ranting and raving. My favorite quote of this is, she breathed. It's so beautiful. Her boss had been silent beside her, but now he'd replied hoarsely, still gripping her hand, yes it is. And when she turned, he was looking at her. Oh my god, just yes. Now, I did post these on Goodreads. I need to go back through and transfer all those onto Storygraph because I want to support Storygraph more. I will leave my Storygraph link down below for you as well, so you can follow me over there. I love how Storygraph maps everything. I'm not sponsored by Storygraph, FYI, but also Storygraph, if you want to sponsor me, hi, I'm Australian. You should sponsor me. I love it. I love how it turned out. I love the graphs. Storygraph's just awesome. I am trying to work it out a bit more and figure out how to use it more succinctly, but as always, that takes time. I'm sure they will update things as they go as well, and the more that users use them too. But anyway, that's that. So this is my book of the month. I write it in later. My review says, Book 2 in Assistant to the Villain series this continues the adventures of Sage, or Evie, and the villain. Picking straight up from the previous book, I was caught up in the story from page 1. There is something about the author's writing that really brings you into the world and makes you love these characters, even their flaws. We learn more about the world of Renadan, and the prophecy that all are trying to complete before all magic is gone. The main tropes of this is boss and assistant, strong woman, magical connection, slow burn, and of course, magical creatures. Like, come on, Kingston the Frog! I wonder if I can just get it from Barnes & Noble and get it shipped to me. I wonder if that will cost me like a fortune though, so. Why can't Australia have pretty things too? Seriously, why? Why can't we have the good things? We've only just now started to get sprayed edges. We are behind. I know we're down under, but like, we don't have to be upside down and left behind. Come on, people. We should have better publishing here. But that's my rant and rave for you. Yeah. I ended up giving this obviously a 5 out of 5. It is a 2 in the chili rating. I don't know if I do this in this section, but I'd probably go back and do it. But it's definitely a 2. Now, in the 2 rating, let me just read what it is. Bear with me. Now, a 2 rating is some spicy scenes with minimal description or open door. So this really doesn't have the deed, but it does have some spicy moments. In terms of the rating, this is top tier, impactful, book hangover, highly recommend. 100%. 110%. If you want to see more about my ratings, I will leave my setup video down below where I actually talk through the entire thing for you. But other than that, I really enjoyed this book. I'm glad that I picked this up at the start of the month because sometimes I leave the good ones to last and I really shouldn't. But yes. Anyway, following on. The next one is the Ali Hazelwood Deep End book. And wow, this was spicy. I listened to this on audio and on the way to work and to and from work, and whew, some moments I had to turn it off because I was like, I hope the person in the car next to me can't hear what I'm listening to right now. This is next level. Now, there has been some Ali Hazelwood books that have been super duper spicy, like Not in Love. That definitely was more of a spicy one. This was next tier, but it didn't take away from the actual narrative, where Not in Love I felt in the end was more like spice based. rather than like character and character development and that kind of thing, where Deep End was definitely more character development. They had flaws, they had conflict. A lot of it was miscommunication, and I'm over the miscommunication trope. But yeah, I gave this a 4 out of 5. I would have given it a 5 out of 5 if some bits weren't in there, or some bits were nutted out a bit more, or just changed, because some of those moments with Scarlet, annoying. Anyway, I understand it's probably because of her trauma and all that kind of stuff, but still. My favorite quote from this book is, "From the start, you held all the power. From the start, I was in the palm of your hand." And I just thought it was so cute. Now, it follows Scarlet. Scarlet is coming off a major injury from a platform diving. Shutting herself off from the world with a bad case of athlete's hyperfocus, she's thrown in the deep end, lol, when her diving buddy Pen suggests she gets with her ex as they share the same, quotation, interests. Lucas Bloomfisk is a world champion swimmer, and he has his eyes on Scarlet. Starting a mutual arrangement sounds like the best thing, but as we all know, these things in books always turn from an arrangement to so much more. Now, the tropes in this one were sports romance, kinks, mental health, and found family. I thought the development of the two characters was quite good. I thought the communication, and they were less flat characters, so they weren't, I don't know how to describe it. They were more round characters in a literal sense. So they actually had problems, they had complications, they had different ways that they talked. Their characterization was well developed, both internal and external, where sometimes you find with flat characters like in the previous book, they're very, this is me. They don't really develop more than that, where I thought Scarlet and Lucas definitely showed that love and that connection that was very much in this. Now, when you go into this, please be mindful. There is lots of trigger warnings. There are lots of warnings and notations before going into this, just in case you want to pick up this book. I'm warning you now. This is not for a young audience. This is definitely 18 plus. Now, I wish there was more fan art, and I wish I could get my hands on a special edition copy of this, and I might keep my eyes out for it. I'm trying not to buy too many special editions, especially books that I haven't read yet, so I didn't get my hands on the pre-order for this, and I'm kicking myself for it. I really am. Anyway, I found some art on Ali Hazelwood's page, and I thought they were super duper cute and really showed off Lucas's tattoo and a bit of Scarlet too. But I wish I got that special edition one at the bottom corner there instead of just the hardback. But you get what you get. In other things, what's your book of the month? What is a book that you have recently read and gone, hey, I think Kate would really like to read this book? Let me know in the comments down below. I would really like to know, as I'm always adding books to my TBR, and you know of any special editions that are coming out and you're like, hey, I know you will like this. Let me know in the comments. I would really like to know. Or message me over on Instagram. I try and post outfit things on there as well. A little bit of a plug for Instagram there. I don't post as often as I'd like to, but I do try and post both outfits that I'm wearing, any like little stories of the doggies, that kind of thing gets posted over there. And happy to have a chat if you want to have a chat. Now, do be mindful, I am a teacher and a librarian. Teacher librarian. So a lot of the time I'll answer at nighttime or the really early hours of the morning when I'm up before school. Obviously can't answer during the day because I can't. I have a job. On the weekends though, I tend to do content and then I do uni stuff. But anyway, The final book that I'm going to write a review for is Bitten by Death, the book club pick for the month for my paperback pals over on Discord. The link is also down below. Anyway, the tropes for this one is fast-paced, gods and vampires, Egyptian mythology, and badass female. You know I love a badass female. She is just amazing. I love Viv in this. Now, my favorite quote is, I destroy a fridge full of blood like a girl rampaging after a rampage ice cream binge after a bad breakup. Now, I did end up giving this a 3 out of 5 and a 1 chili because there was some sexual tension. This book, though, is definitely more of a modern take on a vampire novel, with the main protagonist a female who has no memory of her past until a lot later, gets mixed up in the world of ancient Egyptian gods that want her dead but also need her. Viv is trying to escape her captive Grim before the Stockholm syndrome kicks in. Viv is a badass woman who laughs in the face of death, literally. Now, this was very weird. I did enjoy it. I do have the physical copy because it's my second time reading it. And I do like to have the physical edition of books that I'm doing for book club. Book club wise, I think it was a very mixed reviews on this one. Some people liked it, some people hated it. So it's always good to have a bit of a mix out there. And hey, if you want to join our book club and you get in there and there's a book for the month that you're just like, oh, I don't really want to read that, you don't have to read it. I am not assigning you work. This is not school. Anyway, Viv wakes up and she has no memory of who she is. And she essentially is living in the sewer because she doesn't want to drink human blood because she's like, ew, no. And then she's trying to find out who she is and she's chasing down leads and that kind of thing. And she stumbles upon this guy who she knows has leads on who she is and that. And he ends up dying. And the Grim Reaper arrives. And this Grim Reaper dude, Anubis, spoilers, essentially is like, hey, you're not meant to be alive. What's going on here? So he takes her because he's either going to use her or kill her because as far as the Egyptian law, the Sikahors, I think they're called, are not meant to be there. So it's his job to kill them. I really love the Egyptian mythology within this and learning about all the Egyptian gods. I'm an ancient historian as well as a librarian, so I teach ancient history. And it's one of my passion subjects. It made me want to watch Stargate SG-1 again though, so yeah. Anyway, I picked some really good images. There was some good ones online, some different ones as well that I was just like, no. So the top one says the Grim Reaper can bite me, and it's got the little jackal dog who helps Anubis, and I just think it's freaking adorable. It's so adorable. And then the bottom one says, does death really ever die? Dum dum dum. That's really more in the second one, but I enjoyed it. It wasn't too bad. Like, it wasn't a DNF, which is a 1. It wasn't a, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? Which is one of the books I'm reading now, which is definitely a 2-star, but I still want to know what happens in the end. I struggle at DNFing, by the way. So 3. It was meh, it's okay. I wouldn't rave about it, but you know, it is what it is. I'm putting in here Light Lark because that's what I'm going to read for the next month and packing up. So let's have a look at the final result, shall we? But of course, I missed this section, so I have to write down what my favorite quote is, and that one is from Deep End, and it's from the start. You had all the power. I really like this quote. It wasn't cliche, but I just thought it was cute, so we added it in there. We got there. Now let's finally have a look, shall we? We've got at the start where I'm writing what times I'm reading. We've got my 100 books. We've got my book tracker in there. We've ticked off my romantasy books. That's the next month. We've got my book club picks. And of course we go into February, my chapter 2. So We've got what I read for the month with my page numbers underneath, something that I definitely want to keep doing. We've got my haul and my wrap up with my 7 books. I'm so proud of myself. Pat on the back. And then we got my review pages. I thought they turned out really cute, and I love Kingston. I forgot another one. See, I have to go fill this in. So typical me. I forget bits and then have to go back later and fill them in. As you know, I ended up giving it 2 chilies because it's a little bit spicy, but not enough. Spicy enough to worry as much. Anyway, what do you think of the spread? Do you think it turned out good? Let me know in the comments down below. Maybe leave me a little frog emoji if there is a frog emoji. If not, something green. Now I think of Kermit the Frog. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed filming it and putting this all together and doing the voiceover. It's one of my favorite things. And of course, we have March coming up. Other than that, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or night wherever you are. You keep on reading, you keep the magic alive. And I'll see you next time you drop into my library.